Hi ladies, welcome back to my channel. My name is Faith if you're new here, and if you're not, then welcome back. So today we're going to be going over 4 easy steps that you can go ahead and put into action to become your dream woman. So the first one is decide what you will no longer allow. What is something that you're no longer willing to put up with? Or something that you know that you're doing that maybe you shouldn't? So for example, it can be no more snoozing your alarm. It could be no more negative self-talk. It could be no more procrastination. Anything that you do that you know that you shouldn't, that is inhibiting your growth, that is something that you need to go ahead and cancel out of your life right now. A book that I highly recommend for this section is Breaking the Habit of Being Yourself by Dr. Joe Dispenza. I love Dr. Joe Dispenza. He talks about so much information. He fuses like quantum physics and spirituality into one. So if you haven't heard of him, I definitely recommend him. He also has a book called Becoming Supernatural, which is also amazing to help unlock your mind and basically open up your mind to like new opportunities that are right in front of you. And so in this book, I read it actually twice because it's just so good. But he has meditations and he has practical steps that you can do daily that will help you break the habit of being yourself. And that is what we want in order to become our future self. I'm not saying you have to completely change, but there are aspects of ourself right now that is inhibiting our growth. So that is what we want to address in step number 1. So now we're going to go ahead and move on to step number 2. I just have some notes here, so I'm looking down at. So number 2 is decide what you look like. This is one of my favorite sections. So in this section, we want to decide what our signature hairstyle is. My signature hairstyle is curly just because my hair is curly, so it's easier to maintain and I don't have to worry so much about heat damage. Also, look into like different protective styles. I love protective styles. Actually, a few years ago, I learned how to braid my hair myself. So whenever I want to get like some knotless braids, I'm able to do that. And all I have to do is go buy the hair and I don't have to spend hundreds of dollars on a hairstyle. So that's something I recommend as well. The next is decide your wardrobe. What is your capsule wardrobe? What is your go-to outfit? For me, recently it's been bodysuits. And that's because I have a short torso. So being able to have a shirt that looks like it's tucked in with like high-rise jeans really flatters my body because I'm short. So if I'm wearing like high-waist jeans and a baggy shirt, it can make me look shorter and like really bunch up my midsection, which I don't like. So make something in your wardrobe that's like a staple, whether it's boyfriend jeans, a bodysuit, long sleeve tops, v-necks, whatever it is, you want to find what flatters your body and stick to that. And I'm going to also link a test down below so you can go ahead and take a body type test that lets you know which clothes will flatter your body. And this isn't just like your everyday type test. This is more than like an hourglass, apple, pear. This is a test that I think that has like 18 body types. So this test is more in depth and it will definitely help you out in getting your capsule wardrobe together. So we spoke about hair, we spoke about wardrobe, and so now let's talk about fragrance. So fragrance is so important, especially as a woman. Our skin is soft, we look feminine, we also need to smell good. So figure out your signature fragrance. Mine is Chanel Gabrielle. I love Chanel Gabrielle, but it does not have to be expensive at all. Besides Chanel Gabrielle, I really like Gingham from Bath and Body Works. So that's a good, it's not a dupe, they don't smell the same, but it is a good like budget perfume that I will wear every day. So I just want to make sure that I'm not missing anything. Oh, also decide your signature makeup look. So deciding our signature makeup look is very important. We want to be able to look natural. If you like the caked up look, you can do that as well. But right now I'm not wearing any foundation and this took me about 15 minutes to do this morning. So get something that you can do quickly that makes you look good and that isn't going to take too much of your time up. Okay, sorry about that. My camera battery died, but we're back. So we just covered number 2, which is decide what you look like. We went over our hair, our makeup, our fragrance, and our clothes. So now let's go ahead and move into step 3, which is declutter. Now this is something that I'm noticing I'm struggling with. I kind of have a tendency to want to hold on to things. And so this is definitely some inner work that I am continuing to do. But besides our physical environment, we want to declutter our following list, our pictures, old text messages. Anything that does not serve you is taking up space. We have to remember that. Our space permits energy or omits energy. And if it's cluttered, that clutter is going to cause stagnant energy, which can make you feel unproductive. It can make you feel stuck. It can make you feel lazy. It can make you feel claustrophobic. So definitely make sure that we are decluttering. And so something that I am doing is going through and unfollowing celebrities that do not align with me. Celebrities that aren't living a life that I would want to trade with. And so these can be rappers, these can be IG models, which I actually am not even on IG right now. But if I was, that would be one of the first things I do when I got back on, is to make sure that my timeline is aligned with who I am and where I'm going. That is so important. The things that you see, whether you connect with them or not, your subconscious mind is taking all of that in. And it's just the same as if like you're listening to music. If you notice that maybe you're very anxious or you're kind of fearful throughout the day, pay attention to what type of music you're listening to. If you're listening to music, a lot of rap music or trap music, then that can be a cause why. So something that I recommend if you are having that issue is to start listening to like Afro beats. I love to listen to songs where men are talking about women like they're queens. One of my favorite songs is Blessed. Now, in this song in particular, they're not talking about women, but he's just talking about how blessed he is. He's blessed to see his sunrise. He's blessed to see his son born. He's blessed to have a home and a roof over his head. And this is Blessed by Wizkid. I love the song, one of my favorite songs. So songs like this is really going to uplift your energy. And as you get more into it and you listen to it consistently, you'll actually start to see that your vibration will raise. You will get to a point where you're just more happy and you're uplifted. That is because you're listening and you're consuming uplifting positive content. So we want to be mindful. We want to declutter our YouTube subscribers. If there's people that we're following that we're no longer aligned to, unsubscribe. You can go ahead and maybe watch here and there, but just remember that every action compounds. And that could be a negative compound or a positive compound. So you may say, oh, I want to watch this video about baddies, but that action is going to compound into something, whether you realize it or not. Every action has a reaction. So just keep that in mind. So now we went over our digital decluttering. And the second is physical, which is something that I'm really struggling with. Like I said, I'm noticing that I really want to stay attached to items. Even if I haven't worn them in a while, I'm like, oh, maybe one day I'll need this dress or I'll need these shoes, and I haven't worn them like ever. And so that's something that I'm actually working on right now. I'm saying if I haven't worn it within the past year, I'm throwing it out. And I say the past year because 1 year, that means I went through every season and I did not pick up that item. I went through winter, I went through spring, I went through summer, I went through fall. If that item was not touched in any of these seasons, then there's no reason for it to be around. So just take that in mind. So let me make sure that I am not missing anything. Oh, also make sure that you're decluttering objects as well. So if you have a lot of empty bottles or products where it's just like this much left, is that one pump really going to make a difference, or can you just toss it? Just remember that your space is sacred. Everything in it has a purpose, whether you know it or not. There's no reason for keeping a bottle that has one pump of product left. Just go ahead and toss it, or use it real quick and then toss it. But there's no reason that it should be sitting around for months with just a quarter of product in it. I had to check myself today. I had some mousse in my bathroom and it literally had maybe like a pump. And so I just used it today because I'm like, I haven't used this mousse in like a month and it's just sitting here, right? And so we want to make sure that we're also decluttering our products. Another thing we want to do is declutter spaces in our house that tend to get pretty cluttered, like under our sinks or our closet. Especially you have like a downstairs closet or like a linen closet. Those get junky so fast. Trust me, I understand. I can relate. I would recommend looking online, maybe going to Walmart or something like that and getting some storage bins. If there's things that you want to keep, I would recommend to go ahead and just make sure that you're storing it in a clean and organized way. I'm not saying you have to get rid of everything, but if you are going to keep a lot of things, they need to be organized. Everything in your house has a place where it belongs, and we want to make sure it's there, okay? When your space is cluttered, it affects you more than you know. You can be in a room and your room is cluttered and you're trying to do something else. You're not going to be fully present because you're in a mess. How can you focus on something when there's so much around you that needs to be done? So this is why it's important to declutter our space, physically and digitally. So now we're going to go ahead and move on to the last thing, which is do one thing a day that will elevate your mindset. So in this section, we can do something as simple as meditating 5 minutes a day, which is one of my favorite things to do. I really recommend the app Insight Timer. They have a lot of free meditations and sleep stories. They have courses, things that you can take that will help elevate your mind. I did a 5-day course and it was about 20 minutes a day, and I literally felt a shift in my energy. I just felt overly positive. I felt just more productive. I felt like things that came into my life that were stressful didn't stress me out as much as they would have maybe a week ago before I started the course. So this is something that we want to do that is going to benefit us. It's going to elevate our mind and strengthen our mind. When your mind is strong, you see opportunities and challenges, and that's what we want. We don't want a challenge to come up and now we are freaking out and we don't know what to do and we're frozen in fear. If you ever find yourself frozen in fear, then that means you have some inner work to do around that area of your life. So another thing you can do is affirmations, which I also enjoy. And a book that I recommend is You Can Heal Your Life by Louise Hayes. As you can see, I love this book. I've read this book 3 times. 3 times I've read this book. It has practical guides, it has meditations, it has affirmations. It's basically like a therapy session. It's literally a therapy session in a book, and it's going to help you address your negative thinking, your negative thought patterns, and just things that you do subconsciously that affect you in a negative way. This book, if there's any book, actually I can't say that because I did recommend Breaking the Habit of Being Yourself, and that book is so good. But besides that book, I really highly recommend this book. As you can see, there's some gems in here. That's why there are a lot of tabs. So yes, definitely make sure that you are reading. It doesn't have to be like anything crazy. You don't have to be like trying to read a book a month or anything like that. But if you just spend 5 minutes a day or read 5 pages a day, you will end up reading a book a month. I've actually been reading about 2 books a month, and this isn't on purpose. It's just been happening because I'm actually interested in what I'm reading. If you think that you don't like reading, that's not true. You're just not reading something that you're interested in. Because once you find something that lights your spark up, you're not going to want to put that book down. Why do you think I read this book 3 times? So if you find yourself not interested in reading or things like that, you can also try audiobooks, which I love. There's a lot of free audiobooks out there, and you can use apps called Libby or Hoopla. And you can get a library card and you'll have access to that library's audiobook selection. And so that's what I did. And the library card I have is active for 2 years, and that's majority of the books I get through. They have audiobooks as well as ebooks, and I have a Kindle. So if you have a Kindle, you can go ahead and download that and transfer it onto your Kindle and read it wherever you go. And so I definitely recommend that. Just reading overall has opened up my mind. There's so many things that I've read that put what I was feeling into words. So that is why I really like self-help books and things like that, because maybe I'm struggling with something, but I don't know how to voice it. I don't know how to communicate it. Reading a book on that topic can help me understand what I'm feeling. And so that is why reading is like my number one thing. Reading and meditation. If you don't take anything out of this whole video, read like 5 pages a day and meditate for like 5 minutes a day. Do that for a week and come back and let me know how you feel. I promise you, you're going to feel different. I promise you're going to feel a shift in your life. You're going to start to view life through a more positive perspective. And that just alone is going to change everything around you. Half the problem is how you look at it. And when you have a positive perspective, that's when you're able to see opportunities that you weren't able to see before. And that is when you begin to change your life. So with that, I hope that you guys enjoyed this video. I will go ahead and make sure that I leave that body test down below so you guys can go ahead and take that and get more knowledge on what your body type is and start dressing to flatter your body. And I will go ahead and also leave the book Breaking the Habit of Being Yourself and You Can Heal Your Life down below as well. So thank you so much for watching, and I will see you ladies in the next one. Bye.